One of the biggest mistakes job seekers make is applying to hundreds of listings randomly and hoping something sticks. That approach is exhausting, frustrating, and rarely successful. So, in this lesson, I'm going to show you where to find legit remote jobs, the kinds that pay well, are reliable, and match your skills. And I'll show you how to spot red flags so that you don't waste time on scams. It's time to actually start applying. But remember, not just anywhere. There are thousands of remote job boards online, but not all of them are created equal. Here are some of the remote job boards that you can go through for your listings. We have Remote OK. This is great for tech, marketing, and customer support. We also have Flex Jobs. Flex Jobs is really good because they have a curated list of fully vetted, flexible remote positions. And they also have an upgraded subscription where you can pay to have AI help you fill out your application, so it makes it really fast. Then we have We Work Remotely, which is excellent for startups and creative roles. And finally, we have Indeed. Now, there's some other job boards as well, but those are just a few examples that I personally recommend. We also have Remotive.io and a couple of others. So the key is to focus on sites that screen for quality, because these boards save you hours of frustration. Unfortunately, remote job scams exist, so I need to teach you how to avoid these during your job search. The first red flag would be too good to be true pay. If it promises $5,000 a week for simple tasks, it's a scam. Something else would be upfront fees. Okay, legitimate employers will never ask you to pay to start working. Now, there are some extremely rare exceptions where you'll have to put down like a small deposit for your equipment, but I generally don't recommend applying to those types of positions anyway, because usually those types of positions overwork you and do not pay very well. Okay, so I would just go ahead and avoid those anyway. So yeah, legitimate employers will never ask you to pay to start your work. The next thing would be vague job descriptions. Okay, you're going to want to look for clear expectations and deliverables. And sorry to say, but most job listings that say anything like kindly fill this out or blah, 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 that's usually a scam, okay? So one thing I want to mention about this list of job boards, I cannot guarantee the legitimacy of any job listing, okay? I just want to say that up front, okay? Just because they're listed on those job boards, it doesn't mean they're legitimate, okay? So you're going to have to do your own due diligence in finding out about these. But more than likely, 95% of the listings that you find on these trusted job boards are going to be legitimate jobs. So don't worry too much. Just keep your eye out for stuff that sounds too good to be true, and don't ever pay up front to start work. One more thing. Don't ever click on links that look suspicious, because sometimes these listings can be used as phishing attempts. To gather your information through malicious means. You don't want to, do that either. Now, when you get into it, treat your job search like a project, not a chore. This will actually make it more fun. If you block out dedicated time every day and prioritize quality over quantity, you're going to make sure that you have a good time with this process. Also, remind yourself that every application is practice and progress. Even if it doesn't immediately land an interview, Filling out these job applications is actually really good practice for when you get that one that you need. So keep it going, guys. Keep it pushing. Now that you know where to find the jobs, your next step would be to apply for these jobs strategically. Most people think the more applications, the better. But this does not always work correctly. It usually just leads to a bunch of burnout and rejection. Instead, I like to use the 5-10-20 rule. Here's how it works. 5 searches. Spend 10 to 15 minutes searching for jobs online that match your niche. Limit it to 5 different search queues. Then, save the top 10 jobs that you find within these searches. Save the top 10 that fit your skills, schedule, and values. So you're going to ultimately have a list of 10 saved jobs from the 5 searches, okay? And then once you have your 10 saved jobs, spend no more than 20 minutes per application. Now, this doesn't include any assessments that you may be asked to do. Those can take 30, 45 minutes up to an hour sometimes, but the actual application should not take longer than 20 minutes if you spend focused, distraction-free time completing those applications, okay? So by following this system, you will apply consistently without burning out. And each of your applications will be of high quality. And this is priceless. Remember, consistency is more important than quantity of applications. Even if you apply to fewer jobs, a strategic approach with a tailored resume and cover letter and application dramatically increases your chances of landing those interviews. So track your progress, celebrate your small wins, and remember that rejection is not failure. Every no brings you closer to that yes. And finally, don't forget to tie it all together with your application and follow-up tracker. These tools will keep your job search organized, professional, and actionable. So that's it for this lesson. You now know exactly where to find remote jobs, how to apply strategically without burnout, and how to track and follow up like a pro. I'll see you in the next one.